for my girlfriends out there that maybe have irregular periods. Happy Monday and welcome back to the Spring to Life podcast. I'm Caitlin, your host / hormone health coach, fertility awareness educator, Pilates instructor, and creator of the Spring to Life method. My goal is to promote feminine body independence and share stories of female resiliency to help you love your body more and unleash your inner superpower, your period. So I'm excited about today's episode. I have been creating a lot of cycle syncing lessons for my app subscribers who are moving through my Get Synced program. So the first month of this program is all about setting healthy hormone habits, kind of creating just this baseline of hormone health. Then once you've been tracking your cycle for a full month, then you can really start to dive into the different phases because you have a better idea of where you're at. So during the second month of Get Synced, you get 2 lessons a week detailing different aspects of cycle syncing, breaking down the phases, how to adjust your macros and micros, how to eat for estrogen and progesterone balance. We'll talk about that next week. We talk about creative and work cycles. We're going to talk about fertility. And one of the first things that we talk about is moon cycling. And this is important. Maybe you're still on hormonal birth control, you're not getting periods at all, or you just don't have a period for whatever reason, whatever stage or phase of life you're in, you're not getting a period right now, but you want to lean into your innate cyclical nature. This is where we turn to the moon. And now this is, it could be considered a little woo-woo, but there is just kind of some magic. You can't deny that the moon has a 28-day cycle. The average woman has a 28-day cycle. That's not to say that every woman that has a period is perfectly aligned with the moon cycles. We know that's not true. Not everyone gets their period at the same time. But the moon can be a very powerful tool in cases of irregular or missed periods when you're trying to come back into alignment with your internal menstrual rhythm. So the way this works is that each moon phase correlates to a menstrual phase, which mirrors the average woman's 28-day cycle. So this can be a really powerful tool. And also, if you are even just a little bit overwhelmed by the idea of cycle syncing in the first place, using the moon as a guide can also be really helpful. So I'll say that. So let's just first talk about the phases of the cycle, the menstrual cycle, and the phases of the moon. And then we'll talk about how they correlate. So your menstrual cycle starts on the first full day of bleeding of your period. I think oftentimes before I knew all of this about periods and menstrual cycles, I always thought of the bleed or the period as the end, and also like the name period. You put a period at the end of a sentence, but that's a bit of a misnomer because it's actually the beginning. It's the start of a new cycle. So we start with the menstrual phase, on average 3 to 5 days, maybe 3 to 7 days long. And then you move into your follicular phase. And as the name suggests, the dominant activity here is related to the follicles within the ovaries, where that one egg is going to begin to kind of grow bigger than the rest and take over. You get one egg that releases each month during your ovulatory phase. So following your menstrual phase, the follicular phase can be of a variable length, anywhere from 3 to 10 days. It kind of depends on what your hormones are doing. You move into your ovulatory phase. In reality, we ovulate on one day. It happens, the egg is there for around 36 hours. It either gets fertilized and implanted or dissolves and it's over. But your fertile window is usually about 5 to 7 days long. So we consider that the ovulatory phase. And then you move into your luteal phase, which is usually the longest phase, anywhere from 9 to 12 days. And that is when progesterone takes over, and usually either we deal with PMS symptoms or we don't. Hopefully you're not dealing with PMS symptoms, and then it starts all over again. Now, if we think about the moon phase, we have a new moon. That's when the sky is the darkest. And then it becomes this waxing crescent moon. It starts to become bigger and brighter as time moves on until it becomes a full moon. And then that crescent moon wanes. The full moon wanes into a crescent moon, I should say, until it becomes a new moon again. So I think you can probably guess where I'm going with this. Your menstrual phase correlates with the new moon. Your follicular phase correlates with the waxing crescent moon. Ovulatory phase correlates with the full moon. And then that leaves our luteal phase correlating with the waning crescent moon, and you just continue in that cycle. So in all honesty, it's pretty simple. You can download any type of moon tracking app. If you're not super aware of what's going on in the skies, you can use apps. There's lots of things that you can use to help you get a little bit more aware of what stage the moon is in. But observing the moon phases and aligning yourself with them energetically through the lens of nutrition, exercise, and creative cycles is an important element in reclaiming or regulating your cycle if that's your goal. If you're someone that has been struggling with missed periods, or you really want to get off of hormonal birth control, or your cycle's really irregular, aligning yourself with the phases of the moon and starting to vary things like nutrition, exercise, creative cycles along with that moon cycle can help create this rhythm in your body or familiarize your body with this rhythm. And so those are things that I go in depth in multiple lessons in Get Synced of how you can optimize your nutrition, your exercise, your creative cycles, whether you're having a regular period or not, in order to encourage your body in the direction of those regular hormonal fluctuations. So a really simple way to use the moon to regulate your cycle could be implementing seed cycling. So seed cycling, I have a whole episode on this. One of my very first episodes actually was with Julia Kormansky-Miller. She is a nutritionist and she's the founder of Mansky's Wellness. They do freshly ground seed cycling blends, and she also has launched a line of women's specific bars. Lots of the protein bars and like meal replacement bars that you see in the grocery store have so much crap in them and not a lot of like the macros that you need, like protein and healthy fats, but they are loaded with sugar. So she has created these blends that are so good. These bars are so good. I just have to go on a rant on that. But if you want to hear more from Julia, go back and listen to that episode. I will link it in the show notes. But in essence, seed cycling supplies essential nutrients and healthy fats to promote healthy hormone production. So many women experience a reduction in period-related symptoms when they practice seed cycling. If there are absent periods, injecting your body with those essential nutrients and healthy fats can help to stimulate just that hormonal activity in your body to help you bring back your period. It's just, there's not really a downside to it. You also get a lot of fiber, which helps with elimination. So I love seed cycling. So how do you do it? During the new moon and the waxing crescent moon, so this is the first half of your cycle, menstrual and follicular phase, you want to be consuming 2 tablespoons of freshly ground pumpkin and flax seeds. Alternatively, following the full moon into the waning crescent moon, or your luteal phase, you're going to be consuming 2 tablespoons of freshly ground sesame and sunflower seeds. Now, these seed blends are filled with things like zinc and vitamin E and, like I said, healthy fats, those omegas that we need, and they're going to help with hormone production, estrogen production and elimination in the first half of your cycle, and then progesterone production in the second half, which is so essential for eliminating those PMS symptoms, having pain-free periods. We really need that. So that is just one way in which you can use the moon to start to cycle sync if you don't have regular period. Now, some other things that you could potentially be doing in order to moon cycle is moon bathing, or, just spending some time outside in the evening, similar to the way you want to get sunlight in the morning and maybe see the sunset in the evening in order to regulate your circadian rhythm. Using the moon and spending some time in the moonlight can help regulate your infradian rhythm. And, the moon affects the tides. It affects the pull of gravity and water all over the earth. So to say that it has absolutely no effect on your body would be just kind of ridiculous. Maybe with this past blue supermoon that we had at the end of August, you might have noticed that you didn't sleep very well, or you just felt like kind of off. That's also true that parasites in the body are much more active during the full moon, and that can cause some disruption of just like our regular rhythms. And just traditionally, people get less sleep during the full moon. So to say it has absolutely no effect on your body is just not true. So using it to your advantage it's free, it's simple, why not? So you can, take a 10-15 minute walk outside in the moonlight. You can just look out your window, gaze at the moon, anything like that, and just kind of observing it and noticing your energy during that time. And if you haven't had a cycle for a while, how can you use that and really put it into practice? So new moon, menstrual phase, this is a good time to take it easy, slow it down, give your body some rest, reflect on your past cycle, the past month, and maybe set some goals for yourself for the next 28 to 30 days. Then as it moves into the waxing crescent moon, the moon is starting to get bigger. This is your time to start taking action, start planning, start outlining, start scheduling, start new projects, try something new. As you move into the full moon, you're going to be as outward social as possible. If you can schedule an interview during this time, if you can schedule a presentation during this time. I'm recording my podcast during my internal full moon. Of course, we had the full moon a couple weeks ago. So my internal full moon right now, I'm using to record podcasts and record content for my platform. And then as you move into the waxing crescent moon, this is a good time to wrap up projects, organize, edit, fine tune, put the finishing touches on things, and then you're ready for that next new moon phase where you get a little bit of rest, a little bit of downtime, and it starts all over again. So just wanted to give you a quick episode. If you want more information on this, or if you want to dive more into regulating your cycle, this is something I can help you with in Get Synced, and I have a couple spaces still available, so I would love to work with you. I will link that in the show notes for you to sign up if that's something you want to try. I'm offering a 3-day free trial right now, so you can do a bit of a dry run and see if you like it, but I think that you will. Every woman that has come into the program so far has stayed because they are so stoked about what this has to offer and the potential it has to offer them for their hormone health. But yeah, take some time, notice the moon, notice what your body is doing, how you're feeling, and start to correlate that, start to align yourself with that and see where it takes you. All right, we'll keep it short and sweet this week. Thank you so much for tuning into the Spring to Life podcast. Make sure you check out the show notes for the link to Julia's episode about seed cycling, and I will also link my program Get Synced there. If you learned something new or you resonated with this conversation, please share it. Tag me in your Instagram stories. I'm at Spring to Life Method. Leave a 5-star review. I would be ever so grateful for any ratings and reviews that you could leave, because it really helps more women find the show. And share it with a girlfriend, because all women deserve to know their superpower.